All right, Faith. Should we get her started, huh girl? Let's do it. Yeah, that good girl, Faith. All right, everybody. Welcome NorCal Sports Network Saturday night pre-NFL. We normally be doing a 49ers pregame with a game tomorrow, but the game is Monday. But we got to make our NFL picks. So this is our Saturday night slot, somewhere between 8:30 and 9. This is a football show tonight. You guys want to talk, chat in the baseball, go ahead, but it won't be acknowledged in the stream. This is going to be football. Los will be joining us shortly. He had some technical difficulties. He was going to join us outside in the beautiful evening we're having in Arizona near his poolside. But this is he'll be here shortly. We had some glitches, so we got a little bit start, but I pushed it back because I was watching the end of the USC Utah game and had just gotten home a little earlier, so I decided to take a little rest and get myself rested up. So, everybody, man, good day. You have any bets today, Bora? College football at all?
No, I don't pay attention too closely to college football enough to bet.
To college football. I tell you, college football can be some exciting games. I just love to see SC go down. Can't stand SC.
Yeah.
Never can. Pompous asses, leaving the Pac-12, screwing it up for everybody. Them and UCLA. They ain't making the playoffs this year. That's a beautiful thing. Caleb Williams, I'm hearing he wants whatever show Caleb Williams is, team he gets drafted by, he wants to be part owner of that NFL franchise. Come on.
I don't even think you're allowed to do that as long as you're playing.
I don't think you are.
I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, he ain't going to get that. I mean, anybody just, you know what? Come on. You're not – there's been better quarterbacks to come out of college football than Caleb Williams, and nobody's been asking for that. So, good to see SC take it on the chin on a walk-off field goal by the Utah kicker. It was 4th and 1. Utah had the ball around their own 47, 48, maybe right around midfield, somewhere around there. Anyway, they had a 4th and 1. They got it with 19 seconds left, and then they had an incomplete pass, and then their quarterback scrambled for 26 yards all the way down to the 19-yard line of SC, and they had it on the right hash mark with 5 seconds left. And I'm like, you know what? You got time. Just run a QB and just have him go down it in the middle of the field so it's a straight shot. Because, in the college hash marks, here's the NFL hash marks like this. College is like that. So we bring in Los. Yeah, so I was explaining the SC into the game. The hash marks in the NFL are not that far apart, but in college, and I kicked in high school and college, and that kick from the right angle, from the right hash, you really got to swing it to the left, and the tendency at times is to hook it and to hook it too far. So they did. They moved it right into the middle of the field, took a knee, 3 seconds, 36-yarder straight down the field, and that was it. Yes, G. Martinez, I kicked in college. But
there's another kicker in here, Matthew, right?
Matthew is a kicker, correct. I don't know if he's in here tonight yet.
Maybe later.
Don't see him yet. But,
Will Martinez agrees with you. USC are frauds.
Yeah. So let's get into this Monday night affair first. 49ers And the Vikings, Deebo Samuel is out of the game officially, probably for 2 games. Had an MRI, had an X-ray, nothing to show for it. Still was having pain in the shoulder. So they did a CAT scan,
Wow.
and the CAT scan revealed a small, what do you call it? A hairline fracture. Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Hairline fractures, I've had them in parts, ankle and different parts, and they're very small, but they hurt.
They hurt. Yeah.
Hurt. And you know when something's not right.
So it's more of a pain tolerance than anything else, right?
Yeah, and then if you get hit, you can make it a bigger fracture. So that bone's got to heal up. He's going to be off for 2 weeks. Then they have a bye. So he'll get 3 full weeks, and that will usually takes about 4 weeks to heal a bone, but at least from my experience with my ankle.
I see Trent Williams is doubtful too, huh?
Is he doubtful? Wow.
That's what it's saying on there. I just brought that up like 10 minutes ago.
Interesting. That is interesting. So who else? Doubtful, questionable, McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey's going to play.
Man, why not just rest him though? Instead of, I mean, I know he wants to go out there and play, but
if he's ready to play, they're going to play him. That's what guys want to do. But anyway, Los is having some technical difficulties, so he will let us know when he's ready to come in. With not yet. He can hear us, but we can't hear him. We can hear him.
I heard him speak a minute ago, but
he can't. He doesn't have a sound. He can hear us, but we can't hear him. He's having difficulties. So when he gets in here, we'll kind of do our NFL. We break this down, all 22. Look at the game on an intense level. Really give you insight in what to expect Monday night from our perspective, and we're ready to bring in Los now. Welcome, Los. You good?
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, all right, we hear you.
Yeah.
Good. All right, Los. Well, we described a little college. We got the injury report. We hear Deebo's out, and possibly Trent Williams is doubtful right now.
What's up, Daniel?
So we will head on to the breakdown of the game. We turn it over to our foremost authority when it comes to the all 22. Los, what are you projecting Monday night? Let's hear it.
Well, the Niners are supposedly, by all people's accounts, the deepest roster in football, the best roster in football. So that means that you got to have good depth. That means that your frontline starters are not only your talented players. So that's going to be on full display and tested now. So Jordan Mason and Juwan Jennings and Elijah Mitchell and everybody else, Jalen Moore at left tackle, are going to need to step up. They should be able to, with those guys, still beat the Vikings. They still have more talent. The Vikings do not have the best receiver in football playing for them, so it's kind of a little bit of a wash. But the Niners got to be careful because the Browns didn't have Nick Chubb, and the Browns didn't have Deshaun Watson. So who cares who's in and who's out? Execute and play Niner football, and you get out with the 10 to 13 point win, despite those 3 guys not playing.
You want to answer MF? He's coming at you with a shot right there.
Hey, sorry, MF. Like I'm wrong, like 1 out of 10 times. You want to pick out that one.
He goes 1 out of 10 times.
90% to me in school, last I checked, was an A. So yeah, I picked the Steelers week 1. And I picked that Kittle would have a big game. But remember, MF, I picked Kittle to have a big game thinking that McCaffrey and Deebo would play and they would get a lot of the attention, and they went out.
Gotcha. I hear you.
Kittle got the attention. So, before you come at me like that, you should analyze it better, my friend.
Hey,
There
Dan,
we
you care
go.
if I ask Los a question here?
Yeah, I care.
Okay, fair enough.
No, go ahead.
I was listening to KMBR, and I guess they had Tim Ryan on, and he was talking about how the Minnesota Vikings, they're like one of the biggest blitzing teams in the NFL, even more so than the New York Giants. How do you think the Giants, or how do you think the 49ers counter that, being that, you know, depending on how CMC is going to play, you want to have some outs, right? So you can so Brock Purdy's got some ability to the outside to be able to maybe to dish it off. What do you think?
Kittle's MF, this is for you.
Now here we go.
Kittle's probably not going to have a good game this week.
He's probably going to block, right?
Because he's going to have to stay in to block. But Kittle on prime time and Kittle under the lights always seems to play well. But in more answer to your question, Jalen Moore is a question mark for sure. So what do the Niners do? They're going to either have to commit to the running game, and Jordan Mason's going to have to carry over 20 times. He is a big physical back.
CMC is questionable.
I don't think he's going to play.
You don't think so?
I think he is.
I think he's going to play.
I'll play an interview a little later.
I know he says that he feels great, but that's
exactly. Yeah.
An oblique doesn't go away in a week. He's going to be in pain, and they don't need him. I mean, really, even with Debo out, I'm telling you, they don't need him. Jordan Mason can carry the load. Matt Mitchell can come in. Juwan Jennings can make plays. The Niners will win this game on defense, holding Minnesota to under 17 points. The Niners got to put up 20, 23 points and win this game.
Who's a player that you guys know that, okay, you got CMC and you got Debo, but they're both out. Who's a guy that would be maybe available to kind of do what those guys do, whether it be in the backfield or maybe in the slot or whatever, that might be available in the trade deadline, just to have as that third option?
I think they already have that guy. I think it's Ray McLeod.
You think it's Ray?
I think it's Ray. We saw it last week when Debo went out. He ran about I think 2 end arounds, and he had success. If you remember last year, I think it was against Washington. He had that 60-yard touchdown from an end around. So I think Kyle really views Ray as the backup to Debo's position. Debo doesn't play the traditional wide receiver role. He's more of a full football player who can play receiver and running back. And I think Ray is that type of dude. Sort of that gadget wide receiver who doesn't just run routes, but can be used in the end around or the screens. I think this game is going to be a heavy screen game
because of the blitz.
Because of the blitz, and because Danielle Hunter, who's like tied for the league lead in sacks, is going to be on Jalen Moore, and that's not a good matchup for the Niners. Jalen Moore is a huge question mark. He might be. This might be his tryout to be on the team for the next year, because so far from what we've seen, he has not been a starting caliber NFL player. He hasn't been a starting caliber left tackle, offensive lineman. It's interesting. They've always said they view him as a guard, and they want to develop him as a guard, but they've always put him out there at backup left tackle. So I think this is going to be a heavy screen game. I think McCaffrey will play, and I think he'll be on a pitch count, or he should be on a pitch count at least if he does play. There's no reason to run it 20 times up the gut with CMC. There really isn't. You can win with a pass first offense against the Vikings. They're not a great team. Their defense is ranked 17th, I think. Last week, the reason why the Niners lost was because of Brock, because of Moody, but it was because the Browns have the number 1 defense. They're on a historical run with their pass defense. It's really good. That pass rush is no joke. I saw this chart where Myles Garrett had he was like 3 yards of separation from Brock Purdy when Purdy released the ball. Normally it's like 5 on that left side with Trent Williams. So
And now
Trent
there's no
Williams-
Trent Williams for this.
Now
for
there's
this
no
one.
Trent Williams. He was playing injured last week on a bad ankle, so that does take into account. But it's still Trent Williams, and Myles Garrett's just a beast. And Danielle Hunter's no slouch. He's up there.
Right.
I think he's on his last year of his contract, so he's hungry to get that next contract. I just think Kyle is gonna know to keep the defense off balance. He's gonna use Ray a lot. I think it's gonna be a pretty big day for Ray. And I think it's gonna. If CMC doesn't play, I'm gonna predict Elijah Mitchell is gonna get like 15 to 20 carries.
I think Mitchell may get the bulk of the carries, even though
I think we can all agree. Everyone in the chat, everyone up here, everyone in the media, every fan. Can agree that Jordan Mason has looked better and most likely is better than Elijah Mitchell right now. He's more explosive.
He's
more
but
reliable.
This about Mitchell, a healthy Mitchell.
A healthy Mitchell is really good. A healthy Mitchell could be a top 10 running back.
Yeah.
The problem is he hasn't been healthy in forever, and I'm wondering if the lower body injuries are starting to take a toll on him because he's averaging like 2.5 yards a carry this year, which isn't great at all.
Mitchell has regressed to me.
Yeah.
He, he has the great vision. That's one of his strengths as a running back. He sees holes and hits it. That's what Kyle loves about him. But he doesn't have the explosiveness, and all the lower body injuries are catching up to him. If you see the hole, but you can't hit it quick, what good are you? So if that's the case, and everybody up here who's not, on the Niners coaching staff can see Mason is better, it'd be kind of hard to understand why the coaching staff doesn't see.
I'll tell you why.
Mitchell can.
I don't know if you can pass block if the knees and ankles aren't holding up too much.
I think. I mean, I think
healthy,
Kyle
he's 2 years away. He was a rookie. Was it 2 years ago? He was a rookie.
Yeah.
And he was 1,000-yard rusher. Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was good, and then last year he was good until he got injured and stuff. But the Niners had. We talk about this player. Isn't it a shame that the guy's career was derailed by injuries? I saw him in preseason against Dallas. See if you know who I'm talking about.
Jalen Hurd.
Yep. 2 TDs. I was at Levi's that night, and I'm thinking, this dude's electric. He was a running back at Tennessee, and then he goes to Baylor and becomes a receiver.
He's not even in the league anymore, is he?
No, he
retired. He retired.
Yeah, one of those guys that just had too many things go against him. I mean,
I think sometimes some of these guys' bodies just aren't NFL type bodies. Like for whatever reason,
I know
they could have the muscle, they could have the speed, but they just they can't hang with the NFL hits.
Hey, NFL hits, man. It's barbaric. It's barbaric. It really is.
That's why Chris Borland retired after 1 year.
Oh yeah,
he could have been special.
He was a great linebacker. Yeah. And he was. But you know what? Didn't he want to be a doctor or something or whatever he wanted to do?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And
he was young when he said, "I'm done." Right.
First year. Yeah. 1 year. So some of these guys, they get out. My brother played 6 preseason games for the Minnesota Vikings. Got back in the day, if it was today, he would have been on the practice squad. He got down to the last cut, and they were keeping 47 at the time, or 45 or 47. They had no taxi squads back then in the early 80s. They might have had a 6-man taxi squad. I'm not sure, but anyway, he was a free agent defensive back out of Cal, played 6 games, looked like he was going to possibly make the team, but they kept Paul Krause, I think he might even be a Hall of Fame safety for the Vikings. He was in his last year, and they weren't going to cut him. They were going to keep him, and so they kept the linebacker, Jeff Seaman, out of Stanford, who was a 2nd-round draft pick for the Vikings. And my brother was a free agent. So, you're going to cut the free agent, not the 2nd-round pick, right? and you're not going to cut your Hall of Fame safety, even though my brother was quicker at him. You know, Paul Krause was in his 30s. He was slow at the time, and but that's just the way it goes. But after 6 games, he knew he could play. He says, I can play in this league, but he also realized it was kind of like, to him, it was like, I proved I can play in this league. I'm capable, just keep up with all these guys, but I'm going to walk away because I got my health. I'm not going to go, and a lot of it for him was just proving that he would make it. He could play. Then, he had the chance to go in the USFL that was starting up, and the Oakland Invaders, and we're going, and he was just like, no, I played enough football in my life. I'm not going to keep chasing it. He went into business and, did very well. So,
when the season started, Dan, my worry was that when the Niners set their final roster, and I just thought, Jesus, you got Matt Pryor, trash, and Jalen Moore as your backup tackles. And I'm like, why would they? I mean, they just saw their season ended last year because they couldn't protect the quarterback.
Right.
You would think that would be
a priority.
Because the starting 5 is pretty damn good, especially the left side. But when you start losing some guys, like your depth is pretty good on the whole team, except that area. And you can't afford Purdy to get hurt.
Nope.
At all.
Los, who's the weak link on the offensive line?
Burford and McKivitz. And actually, I think
Burford. I think so too. I think Burford's regressed, I think.
Then he needs to be replaced by Feliciano, who's a physical.
Feliciano's physical, yeah.
Yeah,
the other guy,
Giants, and
Zakel could be a guy that could make his way in there too. He's a physical guy.
His roommate.
Guy he's from Fordham, right? Isn't Zakel from Fordham?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's tough. I saw his college tapes, man. He was throwing guys around.
That's also Fordham, though. So
I know, but he looks pretty mean.
Yeah. He's the developmental guy.
Yeah,
I think that's the sort of the problem with the offensive line as a whole. Burford.
So why is it that
is a developmental guy?
Yeah, why is it that tackles are not made available when, think of teams that are, like the Broncos or, whatever, teams that are going nowhere. And, don't you think they would be, if they had a good tackle, they would be interested in a first round pick or something? I mean, gosh.
I hear other content creators talk about that, like it's impossible or almost impossible to trade for a tackle. And I'm like, why? Like,
they traded for Trent Williams in the offseason.
If they got Trent Williams in a trade. And if there's a backup tackle somewhere that's really good, that's just not playing on a team that is not going anywhere, and the Niners come calling and say, we'll give you a third rounder for your backup tackle, I find it hard to believe that they'll say, nah, we're okay. They're not a starter. Like, didn't Orlando Brown get traded?
Yeah, Orlando Brown got traded to the pick from what
tackles can get traded.
Who's the guy? Wasn't he with the Raiders and went to the Browns?
No, he was on the Ravens, and I think he went to the Chiefs.
Who was the guy that with the Raiders traded?
Right.
Trent. I'm thinking of Trent Brown.
Yeah. Here's a question to ask you guys: Is it because of the value of the tackle that they don't want to give up, or is it you won't get enough back for a tackle? Which way is it?
Probably a little of both.
There just aren't that many like good offensive
so people don't want to give them up then.
That people don't want to give up because they want to be able to protect their quarterback. I mean, I would trade 2 firsts for Christian Darrisaw.
I would get Tristan Wirfs.
I don't know. That's the thing. I would get Tristan Wirfs.
They could have had Wirfs, but they
could have had him. But I don't. That's the thing. Like I would give up the haul for these guys if they're available, and we don't know if they're available.
They could have had Dwan Jones, right tackle from Ohio State, 6'6", 370. That's the guy that played for the Browns and that's the guy that blocked Nick Bosa last week.
Who
Go
shut
and
Nick
watch-
Bosa down.
Go and watch that tape. That big man shut Bosa
370s, man.
370, and he has ridiculous wingspan. And he was there in the third round, and the Niners said, "No, we're okay. Jake Moody, come on board. Cameron Latou, tight end, come on board." They passed on that guy, and I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's like having 2 Boras as your legs. Damn, that's huge.
Yeah, he's a mountain.
What do you guys think of that's more surprising? That there's not 20 really good tackles in the game or 20 good quarterbacks? Because to me, it's shocking at both positions, but quarterback to me is a shocker that there is just only about really 10 to 12 quarterbacks in the league worth having on your team.
Well, I think they directly correlate. I think a lot of good quarterbacks have to have a good offensive line to be able to produce. Like, what would Jalen Hurts be without the Eagles' offensive line? They have the best offensive line in the league, and last year he was great.
That's a good point.
This year he's
Regressed a little.
regressed a little bit. But I mean, so many of these great quarterbacks have really good offensive lines. Patrick Mahomes has a great offensive line. I think we all would agree that he'd still be great on any other team, but the offensive line definitely can boost up your value and your stats a little bit. An interesting one is Daniel Jones. His offensive line is horrible this year. They've had injuries. I think they're rated like the lowest in the league. Last year he was pretty good. He was a pretty good quarterback. I'd say top 15-ish. And that's not a slouch quarterback. I think his interception percentage was low. His fumble percentage was low. He didn't have that many throwing touchdowns, but he took care of the ball. And I think that really correlates with good quarterback play.
Jacksonville's O-line is a little struggling as well, and that's why Lawrence is struggling. So
exactly. I think, I mean, really, they correlate with each other.
Yeah. So
for sure.
so do you man, the Niners offensive line, especially a little bit, in the middle, center, right guard tend to be a little bit smaller. Left side's massive. You got Williams and Banks. They tend to, if you notice, they tend to run more around those guys with McCaffrey up the left side, the sweeps. I don't know. It can't. That's going to be a key. Does the line hold up all the way? I don't know why you wouldn't invest in the line more. But where do you see this game going? Where do you see this? Can the Niners stop Kirk Cousins? Gosh, I hate it when I draw a blank.
Coach, player?
No, the Greenlaw. Greenlaw. Is Greenlaw going to be back? Is he? I heard he practiced.
That's a question.
It said questionable on the injury, but
questionable. I mean,
exactly.
if they practice at all, they're generally going to play.
I think he'll play. Here, I'll answer the question, Dan. I think the Niners should win this game fairly easily. The Browns don't have a good defense.
You mean
they
the Vikings?
Vikings
the Vikings don't have a great defense. They don't have a great offense, especially with
Minnesota
Jefferson out. But I think from the defensive side of the ball, they should be able to shut down the Vikings. Their really only threat in the passing game is TJ Hawkinson, who is pretty good. He's a pretty good tight end. But I think a major, not concern, but thing to look out for is the Vikings running game. If the Vikings can run the ball, they can control the possession of the game and they can have a chance. And I think if they're able to run the ball, that could be a major concern for the Niners because the Vikings don't have a good running game at all. Cam Akers is their backup. Who's their starter? Matheson. Those guys aren't good, and their offensive line isn't great either. The Niners should be able to stop the run game and just completely dare Kirk Cousins to pass. I think Kirk will have at least 1 to 2 interceptions like he always does on primetime. And I think the Niners without Debo, CMC, Trent Williams should be able to put up at least 20 to 25 points easily.
I'll be interested to see what kind of defense the Niners play as far as like if they stop the run on first and second down and they get it to third and long. I hate when they play soft zone. I hate when they play 8 to 10 yards off the receivers. They should not.
Yeah.
You noticed one of their best defensive games of the year was against Dallas. You know why? Go watch the film. They pressed their receivers the whole game. They played man-to-man right up on them. That's how they need to play. That's how you let your pass rush get home. Because let's face it, the Niners really, they have 3 pass rushers. Randy Gregory, Hargrave, and Bosa. Drake Jackson's been the invisible man since week 1. He's done nothing.
Armstead's a run stopper.
Armstead is a run stopper. He pushes the pocket, but you don't really see him rubbing his belly too much anymore. So getting a sack. That's what he does. He rubs his belly when he gets sacks. But I will be interested to see if the Niners can get it to second and third and long, if their corners press their receivers. Because really, they have Hawkinson and Addison is a speed guy. He can burn them deep. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, but he's also made for the Niners in that he is not mobile. They rush and get a lot of sacks when they don't have a mobile quarterback. Mobile quarterbacks bother the Niners. If you notice, PJ Walker last week is not that great of a quarterback, but what is he?
He's mobile. Yeah.
So he made a few plays where he bought time and ran for first downs or bought a little extra time so guys could get open. So
I haven't been able to rest easy all day because I got offered PJ Walker in a trade today, and I'm not sure what to do, man.
Oh, here we go.
Will, you got me shaking in my boots for that one.
Right.
You got me shaking. I'm not sure what to
you
do.
should know, Robsy.
I don't know if I'll be able to sleep tonight or not. Hedging on whether to accept that trade with PJ Walker. Anyway, what happened to Joe Starkey? MF asked. Joe just retired. Was with Cal forever and a day, all the way back into the mid 70s. Joe Starkey broadcast Cal all the way up to last year, and he was fantastic. All right,
hold on, Dan. Let me respond to Kyle real quick. Kyle, I would agree with you partly. I've watched a lot of film on Bosa, and he is not getting there. I know what you're saying. They're getting rid of the ball pretty fast. You're right. But I've seen a lot of teams have 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 where they can't get rid of the ball, and Bosa's not getting there. He's getting blocked a little bit better than before, and they're not doubling him. The guy last week I talked about, DeJuan Jones, go to YouTube and go watch the all-22 film of Browns and Niners. Bosa got completely dominated by that dude. Hargrave is getting more pressure on the quarterback right now than Bosa is. That doesn't mean Bosa can't come around. I think he will, but I'm not going to say he's regressed. He's only 25. He is getting pressure, but he's not quite where he was last year. And maybe this will be the breakout game.
Yeah, watch him have like 5 sacks.
Yeah,
I think him and the D-line as a whole haven't really had a game yet this year where they've completely dominated the game. They haven't had a game with 5 sacks. And
I think that's because I quite honestly think their defensive line was better last year. They had more guys that can get to the quarterback. They had Ekubom. They had Omenahue. They had Jordan Willis, who is out there as a free agent right now. Like, he was released by the Raiders. Like, please go get him. I don't want Clelin Ferrell, whatever his name is. I'll take Jordan Willis every day. It's the guy that blocked the punt against the Packers. He's a playmaker. So last year you had 6 guys that can rush the quarterback. This year you have 3. Unless Drake Jackson finally steps up, you have 3 guys that are getting to the quarterback. Now, Wilkes is blitzing a little more, but they're not exactly getting home. I've seen Greenlaw get maybe 1 sack, and I've seen Warner maybe get 1 or 2 sacks, but I thought they would get there a little bit better. So Niners pass rush is above average, but it needs to get better.
What's the rule when you're not
What's up,
bringing
Matt?
pressure? If you bring 4 and no pressure, bring 5. If you bring 5 and no pressure, bring 6. Just you got to bring as many guys as it takes to get pressure, because if you're not creating pressure, the quarterback has all the time in the pocket and he can play make his way into extending plays and finding receivers. Because guess what? DBs aren't supposed to be able to cover guys for more than 6-7 seconds. After that, the plays break down and all hell breaks loose. You got to be able to create pressure.
You guys know the roster pretty well. You know the name Khalil Davis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The guy from Central Florida?
Yeah.
6'2", 310, short guy, kind of like
Yeah.
DJ Jones, except
Yeah.
he is quick as hell.
Is he on the practice squad, right?
No,
he's
he's
on the
the team.
roster. He's
He's
on
on the roster. They don't even use him.
He's always inactive.
Well,
Like
he tore his ACL last year, right? He was
no, but
he was
not
on
yet. He's had like 14 months to recover
Yeah.
now.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like, that has to be the only explanation, because they kept him this year. They kept him last year. He was on NFI. So he had a chance to return last year. He's on the active roster.
I remember
And he's do not plays.
I remember his practice window opened right when the playoffs started last year.
It was either him or Javon Kinlaw.
And I remember Larry Krueger saying, God, Khalil Davis looks great. Like
I remember him talking about that last year.
I wonder if they're going to activate it. Now, this was like 6 months ago. So what's happened? Because I'm sorry, Kevin Givens isn't exactly doing that great either at tackle. So it's a performance league.
You're going to have to blitz. If you put pressure on, I think Wilkes blitzes more Monday night just because Cousins make him get rid of the ball quickly, throw errant passes. Jefferson's out of the game, obviously. So, you're down the best player on the field, offensively. So I think it's imperative that they put pressure on, because he's not going to beat you with the run. And if you just rush 4 and give him time, he can pick you apart. He's good. But if you force him and rush him, get him out of the pocket, get him uncomfortable, put him on his back, that's when you see Kurt primetime Cousins, who I believe only has 1 win in primetime.
2-10 on Monday Night Football.
Now he's 2. Okay.
2-10.
Yeah. So keep
Did
up.
my homework.
Put the pressure on Kurt Cousins. Hey Matthew, how you doing? We opened the show. You missed it. A salute to the kickers. Utah kicker, game winner. Down go the Trojans. And us Pac-8 original guys from the Pac-8. Then it became the Pac-10 when they added the Arizona schools. Then they added Colorado and Utah to make it the Pac-12. We all can't stand USC and UCLA. They're traitors. They broke up the Pac-12. Get rid of them. Down with the kick. No playoff for USC. Get them out of here.
Don't ever put down kickers on this channel. Or
Yeah, no kidding.
Danny will get on you.
Hey, real quick, another thing Tim Ryan was talking about on that KMBR, he thinks that Minnesota is going to run the ball a lot.
They're going to try to. They're going to try to. That's what you have to do against the Niners. They're so physical. You're going to have to try to out physical them and establish the run. Because if you can establish the run, then your defense gets a little tired, and that opens up the play action game. And that's when you can beat any team. That's really that's what the Niners try to do every game. They try to establish the run so they can play action bootleg. So that's what they're going to try to do.
My crazy prediction for this game on the defensive side is Randy Gregory will have more sacks than Hargrave or Bosa. Why? Because he only played like 30, 35 plays last week. I think he gets up to about 50 to 55. And his thing that makes him special is his speed. And they're playing on that turf in the dome, and his length. He reminds me a little bit of Aldon Smith, the way he rushes the passer. He's got long arms, and he's fast. And he's got something to prove. He's 30 years old. this is kind of his last go around to get a decent contract after
He
this.
signed that big contract with
Yeah,
Denver
the
and just
Broncos
didn't live
are-
up to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Broncos are paying like 95% of his salary.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
Thank you very much, Denver.
the Niners have an out after this year, so they'll probably take that. So he is trying to prove something.
I think he has a good game. So
I think he has a good game. Speaking of kickers, I think
Moody.
Jake Moody has a comeback game too.
I hope so.
and
Well,
then
you ain't got to worry about no win.
And exactly, the Cleveland Stadium is notorious for having
It's a tough place.
all kickers,
Tough
the
place,
wind and everything. It's a tough place to kick. I think. I mean, he had been 9 for 9 previously in the
He missed
first
two.
like
It was his
5
first
games.
2 misses of the year.
Yeah, I think
You know,
I think
I
he
think
has
Kyle
a
could have
pretty
put him
big
in a
comeback.
better position with time. He had time. I know he probably didn't. He was afraid of probably a holding penalty or something like that would push him back to a 50-plus yarder, which is always possible. But, that's one of those plays you just got to run and tell your offensive lineman, no, if the whole, if he's got you beat, don't grab him. Just, let him go down, no gain. Don't try and, grab the guy so you open the hole up. Let him go. Got to be very clear. And if you can get 3-4 yards in a cloud of dust and make it a 37-yarder instead of a 41, it just takes a little bit more pressure off.
You know what they haven't run a lot this year is they used to run Kittle on screens. Like they'd let the pass rush come in and just kind of dump it off to
Dump
him.
it over, yeah.
He's really good after the catch as well. He's tough to bring down. So I haven't seen them use that screen, the tight end screen. I haven't seen them use a running back screen, except to McCaffrey. Everything goes to McCaffrey. He's like 30%.
You guys like that play where the McCaffrey scored last week, the little shovel pass? Do you like that?
I like the way Miami did it better. When Tua, it was like a no-look Chris Paul or Magic Johnson pass. That was sick. He was looking.
Gosh, it's almost like a run, but it gets credit for a touchdown pass, and it's just kind of.
I want to see Ayuk on some screens. I think Ayuk is really agile.
Yeah,
you saw in his rookie year against the Eagles, he took that screen all the way to the house and hurdled the guy. He almost had that again last week.
Hey, what's the word with Danny Gray? Because this would be a game for Danny Gray on turf.
He's still on IR. He has that collarbone issue.
Really?
I think he might have fractured his collarbone.
I mean, that's a 6-7 week injury. When did he fracture it?
Like second game of the preseason, I think.
Dang.
I think one of those guys, Tay Martin, Willie Snead, Chris.
Ronnie Bell could have a big game.
Conley, thank you, is going to come up. One of those guys.
Ronnie Bell could be
big, sure-handed receiver.
I would love to see personally the Niners do a 3 wide receiver set: Ronnie Bell, Juwan Jennings, and Ayuk, because all 3 of them have moves. The one thing I've always Debo's game. Debo is a guy that gets open when they're playing off of him,
playing zone.
And he gets the slants and he gets the muscle balls, but he doesn't. You don't see Debo doing these out and ups or or quick to the sideline. He doesn't get a ton of that.
He's not a route runner.
He did at South Carolina.
He did.
He's a 4-4 speed guy. Shanahan does not run him on post patterns. He
doesn't. He might be capable, but he's not. He's not a great route runner.
Expensive gadget player.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not a great route runner. You know why he's not a great route runner? His hips are just. He's just more of a bulldozer. He doesn't have that shiftiness that an Ayuk has. Ayuk, man, when he plants that foot and then on the inside and then cuts it to the outside, man, he puts DBs on their back. I mean,
Debo's not a guy that is going to be dominant in his 30s. His body just, is.
Yeah, I would
most
think,
likely be his last big contract.
Oh yeah. And if I would not be surprised if they I don't know how if he finishes the whole contract with the Niners.
I would
shock
trade him.
me.
I would
Yeah.
trade him.
I could see him and or Kittle leaving after.
Yep. Ayuk's the more valuable
Keep
player
Ayuk.
you need to sign.
You know,
during that year,
I don't think they need Debo. That's the thing. Like last game, his absence was felt, but that was was that Debo or was that CMC? That's the thing because they were both out.
I think if
and
you
they
have
weren't
both,
moving the
though,
ball.
it's two.
It's a plus
Swiss
to have
Army
both.
knives.
Of course, yeah. But I mean, last year they went like 6-0 without him because he had a hamstring injury last year that kept him out a good portion of the game.
Yeah, he was,
and they didn't miss a beat without him.
You know who the first team would be to trade for Debo would be Miami.
Oh yeah,
you have all that speed, and then you balance it with that power. And McDaniel loves.
Okay, here's a question for you guys: who's the better offensive mind coach, Mike McDaniel or Kyle Shanahan?
I think
close.
McDaniel's the better play designer, but Kyle's the better play caller.
I'm wondering.
I think I might have it the opposite way around.
I was thinking the opposite myself.
I think McDaniel's more aggressive. I think he throws. Well, he has the receivers. Well, here's the thing: is where I was talking about Purdy and his arm strength, yada yada yada. He's and throw it deep. Tua don't got a great arm either, and he throws
those two guys are basically the same quarterback.
Yeah,
one just throws with his left. They're not big. They're not tall. They don't have a strong arm. One just throws with his right arm. The other throws with his left arm, and they all have elite weapons. They have Miami has.
Who has better weapons?
The Niners.
Oh yeah. There you go.
The Niners have better.
That's what it comes down to, right?
Overall, better weapons. They have Ayuk,
I'm
Debo,
not so
CMC,
sure.
Kittle. But I mean,
I think Miami lacks a great tight end.
But
their receivers, they got Waddle.
Those receivers are really good.
Kittle is not showing as a great tight end this year. He has one really good game, and he has like 3 games he disappears on. Now I know he's dominant in the running game. But not last week. Let me tell you, going back to that Cleveland game, again, I watch it. I've never seen Kittle dominated physically in the running game like he was last week. Number 6 for Cleveland, put him on his ass at least 4 times. I've never seen Kittle. Yeah, Kittle. He's got a Jeremiah Owusu. He's got a. That dude is.
He's really good.
I wanted them to draft him.
He slipped in the draft. He did. In the draft.
Yeah.
Plays
so who's the MVP of the league right now? Give me we this changes weekly, just like the fantasy league players do. Who's your top 5? We did a top 5 last week. Remember, it was CMC, Purdy.
Changes week to week.
Yeah. I've got Tyreek Hill at the top right now.
All right, Dan, you go first.
I think we talked about that.
All right, I got Tyreek. I got CMC. Let's see. Who can I put in the 3 spot? Purdy had 1 bad game. I'm still going to leave him in the top 5. Do I leave him at 3? I'll leave him at 3 because I'm drawing a blank as far as who else is up there. Who's having a great year? Gosh, I'm Tua. I'll put Tua up there, right there at 4. 5. Who is up there at 5 right now?
Mahomes?
No, I don't even have Mahomes up there. I'm thinking.
Josh Allen.
I was thinking Allen, but he hasn't done.
He's had some.
He's up and down. Goff. Somebody put Goff. I like Goff. Thank you, Aaron L. Thanks for their
Goff. Okay,
Jared Goff.
All right, so your top 5 is
Tyreek Hill, CMC, Purdy, Tua, and Goff.
Okay. Los, you want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. Number 1, I have Tyreek Hill. Number 2, I have Tua. Number 3.
Shut up. Los, the bad guy. The bad guy.
I have CMC. Number 4, I have Jared Goff. And number 5, this will be a shock, I have Mostert.
Oh,
He has
3
9.
Dolphins?
He has 9 touchdowns. He has 9 rushing touchdowns so far, and he's averaging.
I drafted that dude. He's one of my
he has
35 moves.
75 carries and 429 yards. I don't know. Let me do the math on that.
Oh,
Probably
man.
37 or 8 after today. Yeah, I brought in Nick Mullins a little bit before the Niners left this morning. I actually brought him in for the flight so that he could. He's on IR. I brought him in to get the playbook from the Vikings for the Niners defense, since I have the Niners defense. So I brought Nick Mullins on my squad, dropped him. Then I picked up Hendon Hooker. I think I still have him, but not sure.
This is what Mostert's averaging per carry.
5.72 yards per carry. That's college stuff, man.
That's
almost-
ridiculous.
I have the same top 4 as Bora. Tyreek and Tua. No, it's not fantasy related. They're just the 2 top guys. CMC's 3rd. Purdy's 4th. And I love defensive guys. So I'm going to throw TJ Watt as number 4. Defensive guys do not get enough credit. I know they have their own award, an NFL Defensive Player of the Year, but TJ Watt. And what I hate about the national stories is it's always Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboy, Dude, TJ Watt and Myles Garrett are both better than Parsons. I'm
Do
sorry.
we want to test Eric's football knowledge right now?
Good luck.
Probably not a good thing to do.
TJ Watt, where does he play?
The Pittsburgh Browns.
Good comeback. Good comeback.
Okay. All right. You were really close to getting the boot there. Okay.
I saw Dad. He's like,
Yeah,
especially with that concussion, that's really messing with you.
TJ Watt and Myles Garrett play the run and the pass. Parsons has not been proven to play against the run. And you got that star in your helmet, and then he's complaining on his podcast. Why does the media always go after the Cowboys? And
Why does he have a podcast in the first place? He's not a proven player.
All these athletes have podcasts.
No, I'm fine with Draymond having a podcast. I'm fine with all these experienced, qualified vets to have a podcast.
Oh, you get
Draymond's
freedom
won
of speech,
4
Bora?
rings. No, Micah Parsons
Well,
has had 2 years in the league.
sorta.
He hasn't won a Defensive Player of the Year. I mean,
Hey,
why does he have a platform to speak freely? I mean, not like
It's America.
he shouldn't have his own.
It's America.
Is that North Korea?
Come on, man. You should-
What gives you the right to speak freely? That's great. I'm gonna clip that. I'm clipping that.
mixing my words up, man.
There we go, man. Eric's opening
man.
monologue for his show later, Military History Chronicles. Why does Micah Parsons have the ability in America to speak freely?
These young people, what are they thinking?
No, I don't. That's just me though. I don't know. I mean, Draymond is an established vet, right? He has 4 championships. He's like 34 years old.
He's got the clout.
He's got the clout. He's got the history to be able to talk around the
That's
league.
all right.
He has,
Let him go, and then he'll be just like Kapler, never win anything. Have your little,
MF has a good question. Who's the coach of the year?
coach of the year, Mike McDaniel, right now.
Campbell.
Those are both
Campbell,
good choices,
right, yeah.
and I will disagree with both of them for number 1. I'm giving it to DeMeco Ryans. Like, nobody thought the Texans would be good
3-3.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's out of Campbell. I think Campbell's probably the more realistic choice.
Yeah,
But Detroit has a lot of talent. Houston has really no talent. Like, nobody saw CJ Stroud doing this. They could easily be 4-2. I think DeMeco's doing a hell of a job. He's not going to get it. It'll come out of McDaniel, and I wouldn't count Shanahan out of it either. There's somebody
Well,
else.
Shanahan got robbed last year. Brian Dable, are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah. Come on, yeah. Just yeah, I mean, sometimes coach of the year, having a good team and holding it together and making it excellent. The coaches just don't get credit. But here's something I wanted to tackle, and we looked at coach of the year. We talked about coach of the year. We talked about top 5 MVP. Who's that? Last year at this time, there was a debate early on. It's Parsons and Bosa, for defensive player of the year. Neither one are in the picture right now. Who is the leading candidate, in your opinion, for defensive player of the year?
TJ Watt.
Yeah.
TJ Watt?
Yeah. It's just one for the whole league? Is that it?
Yeah, it's not an AFC or an NFC thing. It's
gotcha.
NFL defensive player of the year. TJ Watt, Myles Garrett's up there.
I think Daniil Hunter's up there too. He has 8 sacks.
I think Fred Warner is up there.
There you go.
Fred Warner has been dominant
and
just about every freaking game. He is the captain of the team. He's the emotional leader of the whole team, not just the defense.
I almost got to put Warner right up there with you with Watt.
Do you remember I made a comment at the beginning of the year? Like people in the chat were like, "Oh hell no, Los." I said Warner to me is, and this is right after Bosa signed, and Bosa got 34 mil. Fred makes 17 mil now, and I said, and I know it's up to date on the contract. Fred would probably get 26, 27 right now, but I said Warner is just as important to the defense as Bosa is. And because everybody's going off of what Bosa's done the last few years, because a defensive end can be neutralized a little bit if you chip it, if you double team them. And Bosa's still dominant, don't get me wrong. But Fred Warner's just playing out of his mind. He creates turnovers, he gets interceptions, he covers guys 30 yards downfield that are freaking wide receivers. He fills the hole. He is the emotional leader of the team. That'd be one guy I definitely don't want to see go down at all. Yeah, Fred Warner's he's a defensive MVP.
Chat, you guys better go easy on Bora. He had a Freudian slip there.
We know what you're talking. We know what you're talking about.
No, exactly. It came out wrong.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
He's not a communist.
I know Bora, and he's no communist. Okay.
No, I think Warner's really valuable to the defense, but I'm not going to say this person's more valuable, but I think another really valuable person is Ward, Charvarius Ward. I think we've seen what happens when either him or Lenore go out. Ambry Thomas comes in, and it's just a free shot to play around with him. He does not cover well. He doesn't play press man well. He doesn't play zone well. He's not that good of a corner. And when one of the corners are out, it's just they attack him. And I think that being able to have shut down corners and corners to rely on to put them on an island is really valuable.
Greenlaw is really special too. He is so physical.
Oh yeah,
he is so physical. Maybe a little more physical than even Warner when he hits.
He's a monster. Yeah, he's a monster.
Really physical.
All right. Well, let's do our predictions now before we kind of wrap up the show. Let's do our Niner scores, and then we'll go down and we'll do our pick'ems. Did we get our pick'ems last week written down, or you rewatched the show? I didn't remember even what we.
Warner wrote them down.
Did I write them down? I
don't know if he tallied the scores yet.
I wrote down what our predictions were for the playoff teams.
Oh, okay, but not the we didn't. We'll have to go back and watch last
week. We picked games last week.
Yeah, but I think we did. We're gonna have to go watch the show, see who we picked. I can't even remember.
Oh.
I changed my pick on the with the Jets. I picked the Jets, and then you told me Sauce Gardner was out.
I stayed with the Jets. I stuck with them.
Good job, man. I thought that was going to be. I thought they were going to upset him. I just kind of felt like it, but I don't know why I pulled it back.
I'm shocked you didn't write that down, man.
All right, let's
College students supposed
start
to
with the
be
Niners.
standouts.
Let's start with the Niners. Let's go to our correspondent from communist Russia.
I must break you.
Borinsky. Comrade Borinsky, what is your pick?
I'm taking the Niners. It should be a pretty easy game to win. What's the spread?
6.5.
Oh yeah, I think they should win by 13 or more.
Eric, you're gonna have to talk about Russian military tanks now on your channel.
Yeah, I know. I may have to do a show. I wasn't thinking about doing it, but hey, if people want me to do it, I'll do it tonight.
If you talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis one time, I will be on there.
That's definitely gonna
that
come.
always fascinates.
There's a lot of stuff
That is a fascinating era. I got the Niners.
What was your score, Bora?
Oh, should we do scores?
Give a score. I got a headache again.
27-10. Yeah.
Hope it's a
No,
shutout.
27-13.
I wish they would shut him out and get about 25 fantasy points.
Damn it, Bora, you took. I was gonna go 28-14. What
You
the
can still
hell,
do that.
man?
All right, Los.
30-17 Niners.
We're all close. 28-14.
All right.
I think it's a close game, like going into maybe the third quarter. One score game, and then
I know Debo's out. CMC's not 100%, but I think the Niners want to get back to Niner offensive football.
Yeah.
I think they come out gunning, and I'm going to say 34 to 34-10 Niners.
that's a
34-10.
Yeah.
Eric, what was yours again?
28-14.
Okay.
All right. So now we go to our pick'em, and
Write them down, Bora.
All right,
Pull
Dan,
up
what
the-
yours was 34-10.
34-10. Yeah.
34.
All right, so we're going to go to the NFL schedule. Pull it up here. Just share the screen. All right, Bora, we'll start with Vegas at Chicago. This week's Tidy Toilet Bowl game.
Are we going to be predicting scores for all these games, or
No,
No.
just take the team.
okay? I'm going to take the Raiders.
All right, Los.
Raiders.
I got the Raiders. Okay. We'll each get 2 picks first. So you go ahead, Bora, with the next game, and then it'll be Los and then me first. So go Cleveland
guys
at Indy.
Pick Raiders, right?
Yep, we all took the Raiders.
Okay. I'm taking Cleveland.
Bora, Los.
This goes against everything that I think about Cleveland, touting their defense. I think they have a letdown after beating the Niners. I think Indy gets them.
I think that's a good pick. I'm going to go. I was thinking the same thing of a letdown.
Low scoring game, 17-14.
And you know what? Indy, it's at home. I'm going to go ahead and take Indy. Jonathan Taylor somehow does something for me. All right. My pick here for Buffalo. No, it's Los. You're Los. Both. Los. Buffalo at New England.
New England is completely in shambles. That should be a pretty sizable victory for the Bills.
All right. I got Buffalo too.
Yeah, I'm pick the Bills.
All right. Washington, New York at the Giants.
Got 2 pretty below average teams. Washington's so up and down. I'll go with Washington. They're just New York's just a bad team. Daniel Jones. Is Daniel Jones even playing? Is he out?
I don't
I
think
think
so.
he's playing. I
I thought Taylor was playing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Washington's the better of the two, and hoping the great Sam Howell plays good for Bora. He needs a win.
Sam Howell.
Doesn't even sound like the quarterback's name.
It sounds like Thurston Howell's kid or something.
Oh yeah, he's not going to play.
Great grandson. Ask Bora if he knows who Thurston.
Yeah,
Howell
you know who Thurston Howell is, Bora?
Nope.
and does not care.
Nope.
All right.
Gilligan's Island, buddy. Gilligan's Island.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna take the Giants just to be a little different.
Okay. I'm picking Washington.
All right. I guess it's my turn. Atlanta, Tampa Bay taking Tampa.
I'm gonna take Atlanta. I think
All right.
I think they have a comeback game.
You know what? Screw Tampa. I picked them last week against the Lions, so I'm going Atlanta.
All right. Probably the game of the week right here. Detroit at Baltimore. My heart, well, because of my fantasy team, I want Goff and Laporta to do well, but I think Baltimore wins. I just hope Goff doesn't have a bad game as projected. Being on the road, tough defense. Hopefully, maybe, I don't care. It'd be nice to see Baltimore win just for the 49ers' sake, but hopefully it's a high enough scoring game where Detroit has to throw the ball a lot.
So you're picking Baltimore?
I'm taking Baltimore. Los?
I'm
or Bora?
I'm gonna take Detroit. As much as I want Lamar to have a big game, I think Detroit's defense is really underrated, and I think Dan Campbell's gonna have him ready to play.
Okay. Los?
Tough game, man.
That's the game of the week.
I was leaning towards Baltimore all week. I think Lamar is going to have a pretty good game running the ball. He's going to have one of his patented Lamar over 100 yards running the ball. But you know what? I picked against Detroit last week. They're for real, man. I think every time they play a good team like this, they have a chip on their shoulder and they're proving something. So I'm going to go with the Lions.
All right. Who's up next? Who's picked Boris? I think Pittsburgh at LA.
I'm gonna pick the Rams. I think Puka and Kupp are gonna have big games. Pittsburgh's secondary isn't too good. They are gonna be passing the ball, so TJ Watt might have a big game, but I think the Rams are just gonna have I think Kupp and Puka are too overmatched for the Steelers corners.
Go ahead, Los.
I concur. I think the Rams have too many weapons for Pittsburgh and should win that game pretty handily.
I think the Steelers end up making Kupp Puka in the cup.
Puka in the cup. Okay.
Puka pukes in the cup. No, Puka comes out wearing a tutu and pukes all over Kupp. That's shoot. I want the Steelers to win. The Ram. You know what? Steelers are going to surprise you.
Do it.
I'm going to pick the Steelers. The Rams are down their backs, and they're going to force them into. I don't know. We're going to go with Pittsburgh, and then Bora, you got Arizona, Seattle.
I'm taking Seattle.
Los?
This is my upset. I think Seattle's got more internal problems than they're letting on. And think Arizona's always kind of played them tough.
I know. I hate that. I picked him I took Seattle in my Survivor League
Some
too.
teams just, kind of have other teams' numbers for you don't even know the reason. Arizona always seems to get them, even though Seattle has the better team. I'm taking Arizona in the upset. Definitely would take them with the points betting.
Seattle better win just because I took him in my Survivor and I'm down to like 12 people in it. Dang it. Taking Seattle. All right. Los, you got Green Bay, LA.
Green Bay and Denver.
I mean, yeah.
Denver's a disaster. I'll go Green Bay.
I'll go Green Bay too.
Yeah,
Laura?
I'm going Green Bay.
All right. LA at Kansas City. Chargers, Kansas City. That's a good one.
Keep waiting for Justin Herbert to actually live up to a top 3 quarterback that everybody says he is. Had a horrible game against Dallas. Mahomes gets it done. Kansas City wins.
All right. I'll take Kansas City as well.
This is my upset. I'm gonna take the Chargers.
Nice.
All right.
For no reason.
Wait a minute. Here's the other game.
No
Here's the game of the week.
No backing. Just I'm gonna take him.
I forgot about this one. This is the game of the week, Sunday night. Dang it. I'm going out to dinner tomorrow, Sunday night. Ooh, that game's on. Shoot.
Oh, that's your dinner? That's right. Oh man.
Oh,
Somebody's gonna be looking at their phone at dinner.
yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. This is a game. You know
I
what?
gotta go to the bathroom.
Philly gets up for big games. Miami got smoked when they went to play Buffalo. This is going to be a track meet. I want Miami to win, obvious reasons, being a Niner fan. But somehow I think Philly pulls it off. And I'm picking Philly.
I'm gonna pick Miami. I think their offense is super good, and Philly's defense has struggled this year.
They're hurting in the backfield too, defensive backfield, I heard.
They are, yep. And I think Philadelphia's offense is still it's not that offense that was unstoppable last year. That running game isn't doing great. Jalen Hurts is sort of he's regressed. He has 7 picks this season so far, so I'm going to pick Miami.
I hope Miami wins. I hope Miami wins, but Devontae Smith gets 200 yards passing with 3 TDs. 200 passing yards. That would be just a track meet. Just come on, get this thing going. Lowe's final pick of the night: Miami at Philadelphia. I know who he's going with.
Having a struggling secondary is not a good idea against Miami. I'm going with my 2-headed monster for the bad guy. To Tyreek. Tyreek 8 and 140 and 2 touchdowns. Tua 280 and 3 touchdowns. Miami wins.
Yeah, it's a good game if you've got wide receivers in this game.
Got them all here.
Got them all there. All right.
I think if the key to Miami winning is if they get up and they force Philly to have to throw the ball, because if it's a close game and Philly can keep running, Miami's not overly dominant against the run, but I think Miami gets out to a lead and forces Philly to have to play.
I think if a chain was playing, I would pick Miami because then it's like
I have no idea what the weather is like for that game. I haven't even checked, but if it's good weather, then Miami for sure. If it's raining, cold, windy, whatever, then that helps Philadelphia a little bit.
Well, it will be interesting. I'll tell you that. Those 2 great games tomorrow. Miami at Philadelphia and Detroit at Baltimore. The more exciting game, if you like offense, is Miami, Philadelphia. If you like a good defensive battle, Detroit, Baltimore is going to be a physical game. Man, that's going to be tough. So we'll see how we do. We'll come back. I don't know if we're coming back Monday night or not. Or we might just end up doing Tuesday night. We'll see. See what happens. We've got some stuff going this weekend. Obviously, got some. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the football, and then we make. We'll cover the playoff baseball if the Rangers come back or the Diamondbacks come back and win, or if there's just a great 7th game somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll have to cover that. But
that Philly crowd, just to speak, they're probably going to be super amped up because their Phillies are coming back home with a 3-2 lead.
I think they'll be ramped up for football, period.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There always are.
That's a unbelievable sports town.
It is.
But we'll see.
Go easy.
So, guys, hit that like button if you would. Hit the like, subscribe. We need to get a little plug in there that says, have you hit the like button? I don't know how you do that, but get that wrapped up in there. You stop the screen, go back to Hollywood Squares. And thanks, everybody, for joining. We appreciate it. Enjoy your Sunday tomorrow. And we will see you back here on the NorCal Sports Network. Who knows when? We might just pop back in tomorrow night. You never know what can happen. We'll play it by ear. Let the sports world dictate it. All right, everybody.
There is one last thing, Danny. There is an upcoming show, and I'm not going to say what the topic is, but me and Dan talked about it today. It's a good topic, and I'll leave it at that. You guys will want to tune in for that one. We'll give you a heads up with a thumbnail when it comes out.
Yep, you're going to want to join.
Everybody will relate to it, and have a story. Let's just put it that way.
Especially if you're a man.
Yes.
So we'll tease you with that. Anyway, everybody have a good one. We'll be back when the sports world dictates it. It'll be within the next 3 nights for sure. Sunday night, Monday night, or Tuesday night. It all depends. Monday night, I'm not sure, because if Larry's doing a show on Niners postgame, I'll be over there on his channel. If he's not, for some reason, we'll do one ourselves. But so we may be back tomorrow night to discuss things, or Tuesday night. Tuesday night, reminder, is opening night, Warriors and Suns. Yes. Oh, that's right. Larry will be doing another one show on that. That is gonna be awesome. KD back in the building. First time for a regular season game, he's gonna suit up, and that'll be pretty special. He'll get his.
It's at Chase, right?
It's at Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that they're doing that Joe Lacob is doing some kind of city fundraiser, trying to get some fans to show up, because he's a little upset with that people are down on the city of San Francisco, and he's teaming up with Larry Bear to do a little picket to make sure people show up to the Warrior games. He's upset.
How exciting would it be if he bought the Giants?
Memo to Joe Lacob. You want to solve this problem?
Buy the Giants.
Buy the Giants.
Buy the Giants and kick. Hey, Larry Bear, let's do this fundraiser.
Don't buy the A's. Buy the Giants.
Yeah, and after he does the fundraiser, just say you're fired.
Yeah, there we go. All right, everybody. Good luck to everybody not named Haruku in your fantasy football league tomorrow. We got these two guys right here diagonally facing each other.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be close.
Who's going to win? Does Bora get off the snide and get his first victory?
He might. I don't got Joe Burrow going, so I got Dobbs in there going in instead of Burrow. He may do okay. I'm worried about DJ Moore because Fields isn't being.
You have Dobbs?
Yeah, I got Dobbs. You traded him to me.
Oh, I thought you meant Arizona. You mentioned Burrow. I thought you meant Arizona Dobbs.
No, I had to put Dobbs in place of Burrow.
Oh, Romeo Dobbs.
You still have 5 quarterbacks, Eric?
No, I dropped him.
He's down to 4. He's down to 4. He's going to hang on to those to make sure a quarter of his team's
Thanks,
at
Matt.
least quarterbacks.
Wait, who'd you drop, Eric?
I dropped Beathard.
Okay.
Yeah, and you picked up Fryermouth the other day, and he went on IR.
Yep, and I dropped him.
You just bring him in for just a little.
Well, I thought he might be doing something, but
Oh.
he re-aggravated that hamstring. So
Yeah, hammies, they keep coming back, man. Jeez. Make sure you, bring in some guys IR just to cheer up the team a little bit.
yeah,
It helps.
it's
Eric,
a work
trade
for
me.
you.
Morale boost.
It's a
Eric.
morale boost.
Eric, trade me Burrow, and I'll give you a signed autograph of General MacArthur.
You know what? I might take you up on that. I might
Collusion.
take you up on
Collusion.
He would do it.
That. I might just have to, if it's a signed autograph from
It's
Jim
a-
You know what button I'm hitting? Veto.
Veto.
I want to give Bora a chance to
Hey.
beat up somebody, man.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let me one last thing. Hold on, I gotta type one. Hold on here. Wait. We got to finish with this. Ooh. We
I
got.
don't think I have
You've
any
heard
more.
you've heard of the Gang of 8 in Congress.
Yeah.
We got the Gang of 4 in NorCal sports.
Yep.
It's the veto. Shout out to all our veto gang. You know what? Stick it where the sun don't shine, buddies. All of you.
Veto rhymes with the word called pito in Spanish, and it's a bad word. So stop veto. Don't be a pito.
Oh man.
Getting silly late night on a
say,
Saturday.
say hello to my little friend.
Mark Graves says he have a feeling if you lose tomorrow, he'll check to see if the players he wanted from Dan would have made a difference. Well, you never know in this stuff, man. I don't know. We'll
Dan and I
see.
still might make a trade. You never know.
He still might make a trade. You never know. I
You
got
know
a
what, I
trade
might-
out there to Heroku, but he's not in here tonight. I haven't heard from him. Let me see if he's responded. It's been like 4 hours.
Hey, is 916 49er? Is that new?
Nope.
No, I've seen him before.
I've seen him. Oh, well, I
I
haven't.
don't know. 91649. Are you new?
I think I've seen him
Welcome.
before.
Seen him in there?
Let us
Welcome.
know. Let us know who.
If you haven't, welcome.
I mean, Sacramento. He's from Sacramento, and he's a Niner man.
What's your score prediction?
Kings fan.
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah. No, he's not new. I wonder if he
I thought I saw him before.
is.
Is
He
that a
are
con- is that a
91649. Are you a Kings or Warriors fan or neither?
Is that
I'm
a
gonna
Kyle?
guess. I'm gonna guess he's a Kings fan. You're in the 916 area code. You're probably a Kings fan. Where's 530 at up there? I know I see some 530.
Oh, that's up there in Marysville.
Okay, those are Kings
Up in that
fans a
area.
lot too, probably. Yeah.
How about Robert?
All right.
DeVille?
Robert, are you
what's
in
up.
DeVille? Okay. What is that? Okay. All right. What's up,
Always-
everyone? Robert
always
DeVille.
like seeing
Hey.
people in here, man. Talk about that.
Robert DeVille sent me a picture the other day. Let me see.
He's
if I
a
can pull
Kings
it up.
fan.
Let me show you what Robert DeVille sent me before we close this out. It's okay if I show you a picture, Robert? I hope so. I'm about to show it. Wait a minute. Where'd it go? Hold on.
Put a shirt on, Kyle.
There we go. All right. Robert got this. From the Bochis family.
Oh, all right then.
Nice.
Nice.
They sent that to him.
Who is
The
that?
Rangers.
He's a fan in the chat.
No, the pitcher. Is that Robert? That's actually
That's Robert. That's Robert. Yeah.
That's Robert.
Oh, okay, cool.
Take October, Texas.
Hey,
The Rangers.
That came directly from the Bochy family. He
That's
said.
awesome.
Wait a minute.
Way
Says,
to go.
Got sent this from the Bochis. So, yeah, he does some stuff with the Giants. Robert does. So, I think he got some ins there. But anyway, we're out. You guys have a great one. We'll see you maybe mañana. Later.
See ya.
Give him a what a rush.
You want to have? Okay, here we go. I gotta clear my throat. Los may like this one. We'll see. What a rush!
Hey,
Come on, man.
we're not done. We're not done. Come on, I was just a joke, man. We got to get.
What is this, a concert? And this is our
This is our opening.
Encore. It's an encore.
Yeah.
one away. What in the world?
And talked about enough when it comes to the best burgers in San Francisco. This burger came out medium rare, as much red as pink in color. That always seems to coincide nicely with lots of flavor for me. I like it messy, and between the bacon, caramelized onions, and the spicy horseradish aioli, yeah, it got me there. And don't sleep on those fries. You can see how crispy and salty they are. The menu is diverse, but the burger is the star of the show, a solid 60. The vibe is cozy, intimate, but I wasn't about to miss out, even though my hands were a little dirty after being on my bike most of the day. Definitely check Marlowe out. Marlowe on Brannan Street.